Hey folks, the hero of Hyrule who stands up against great evils such as the Gerudo King Ganondorf, the Wind Mage Vati, or the Dark Wizard Aghanim is typically a brave young Hylian male named Link, the hero in green who wields the Blade of Evil's Bane. We've seen him go on countless adventures, triumphing in his grand quests across Hyrule and other lands to put a stop to evil. However, there are occasions where the hero falls short, with one instance in particular that would alter Hyrule's history forever, creating one of 3 alternative timeline branches following the events of Ocarina of Time. This is the lore of the hero who failed. A tale that doesn't have the typical fairy tale ending we've come to know, one where Link falls in battle, leading Hyrule into a period of chaos and unrest. Welcome back to another Zelda lore storytelling. Now, funny enough, this is actually the video I was working on before the big Ocarina of Time remake reveal, so this kinda got pushed to the side so I can make some content focused on that. Now, whilst this isn't directly an Ocarina of Time video itself, it does connect to the game, so we're sort of still on that theme. Anyway, before getting into this one, I'd like to make a quick plug, because my management team has kind of been on my back about this one. So if you didn't already know, I've got all of my social pages linked below where you can follow to keep up to date with me and what I get up to. I post updates as well as anything I find interesting or funny. You can also join my Discord server where you can chat to myself and many other wonderful Zelda fans about our beloved Zelda series. I guess I don't plug my socials enough early in videos, so yeah, management's kind of been up my about that one. Was that good enough then, yeah? Did I do a good job? As always folks, be sure to go and grab yourself a delicious snack and drink for the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and drop a cheeky wee like down below. And let's now dive into the story behind the hero of Hyrule who failed. As the adventure portrayed in Ocarina of Time reaches its summit, Link stands toe-to-toe with the now unleashed full form of evil, Ganon. Standing in the crumbled ruins of Ganon's castle, the final battle commences. Link fights courageously against the towering beast that Ganondorf became, dodging his giant blades, slashing the monster's legs, and fighting for Hyrule's future. As Link gains the upper hand, knocking the beast down, it appears as though victory is that of Hyrule's. In an unexpected turn of events, Ganon unleashes a flurry of rage that could not have been anticipated, swinging his blades in madness, turning the tables and pinning Link back. Overwhelmed by the momentum of Ganon, Link can only parry slash after slash until Ganon seizes his opportunity to slay the hero and kill Link. This is the beginning of the Downfall timeline split. The Zelda timeline isn't a linear chain of events. Following Ocarina of Time, it splits into 3 separate timelines, 3 alternative versions of what happens at the end of this adventure. I've covered the hero who goes down the child timeline leading into the events of Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Four Swords Adventures, as well as the first hero seen in the adult timeline through the adventures of the Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, eventually leading to the events of Spirit Tracks. This story, however, is focused on not so much the hero himself as he dies at the hands of Ganon, but more so the events that follow as a result of his death. The Downfall timeline split is the branch with the most games taking place within it, packed with rich lore and significant events in Hyrule's long history. It contains 8 different adventures, including the first 4 Zelda games that were ever released. Let's start by looking at what happened directly after the Hero of Time fell in battle, the moments after Ganon won. As Link's body lays still on the cold ruins of Ganon's castle, the beast roars in victory. Already in possession of the Triforce of Power, Ganon moves quickly to take the Triforce of Courage and Wisdom from Link and Zelda. At this moment, he possesses the full Triforce relic, providing him with the power to grant any of his desires. Before Ganon can use this divine power to take Hyrule as his own once and for all, the sages step in with a last-ditch effort to stop him. They perform the Sage's Seal and successfully manage to trap the beast within the Sacred Realm, transforming the realm into a corrupt world that mirrors Ganon's heart, turning it into a nightmarish world where monsters and demons could thrive. With Ganon contained within the Sacred Realm, the Kingdom of Hyrule would enjoy a period of peace, but this would only be for a brief time. After enjoying a stint of peace in the land, rumours began to spread across the kingdom of the golden power lying within the Sacred Realm. This gossip drew in those with pure greed in their heart. Greed-ridden Hyruleans began attempting to enter the Sacred Realm and steal the Triforce for their own desires. However, these attempts were met with no return. Within Ganon's dark Sacred Realm, those who entered were turned into monsters and became part of his evil army. As his forces grew bigger, the threat of evil spilling out of the realm grew as well, until eventually the seal broke and Ganon's forces began spilling out into Hyrule, beginning an event that would become known as the Imprisoning War. The King of Hyrule at this time took swift action by commanding the 7 sages to seal the gateway between the Dark World and Hyrule to put a stop to Ganon's invasion. In order to pull this off, the sages were aided by the resilient Knights of Hyrule, the strongest and most courageous warriors from across the kingdom. Though this battle would not be pretty. The Hyrulean forces suffered greatly and took the full brunt. Many lives were lost whilst fighting against Ganon's army to try and pin them back into the Dark World where they spawned. The kingdom itself took on a lot of damage and destruction as well. To highlight just how strong Ganon's forces were, they almost wiped out the entire Hyrulean army. It took everything Hyrule had to allow the sages their moment to create a seal and trap Ganon within the realm once again. It came at very high cost, but Hyrule won this war. The kingdom lost the majority of its army, and it was left as a complete mess. Hylian bloodlines dwindled and the power of the sages fell. Hyrule was left as a mere shell of the proud and mighty kingdom that it was once during the era that Ocarina of Time takes place. Post-Imprisoning War is one of the worst states Hyrule has found itself, but the kingdom would relish in a period of peace that would last for many years. The hero of Time's death is what leads to the events of the 8 adventures in the Downfall timeline split. Each their own unique quest that all stems from the Imprisoning War that followed Link's passing. One adventure in particular that really shows this is the first one that takes place in this split, A Link to the Past. This is the beginning of what's known as the Era of Light and Darkness. Hyrule had been at peace for many years now, rebuilding and repopulating what was lost during the Imprisoning War. Life was good, though, as Zelda games go, a misfortune would soon strike. The kingdom went through a series of unfortunate events. The details of such aren't specified, but it was enough to have the King of Hyrule put out rewards for anyone who could aid. Enter the Dark Wizard Ganon. The mysterious figure appeared not long after a reward was put out by the king. Using unheard of magic, Ganon was able to put a stop to the troubles Hyrule was facing. The Dark Wizard titled himself as a hero and that he was the second coming of the sages. These bold claims were still met with reward. The king made Ganon his official chief advisor, but this move would turn out to be costly. The arrival of Ganon was too good to be true. Now on the inside of the Hyrulean royal family, he took advantage of his role to brainwash the entire army. Using his mysterious form of magic, he had all of the knights turn on the king and eliminate him. Ganon then sent 6 of the maidens who were descendants of the sages into the Dark World. This was done to break the seal on Ganon. Zelda was his last remaining target. Locked away within Hyrule Castle awaiting her fate, she telepathically calls out to Link, and this is where the adventure of A Link to the Past begins. The events of A Link to the Past take place, following the adventure of the first hero since the Hero of Time. The journey begins with heartache as Link loses his uncle at the very beginning of the game. His quest sees him collect the Pendants of Virtue, allowing him to discover the Master Sword hidden away deep within the Lost Woods. Link faces off against Ganon before the Dark Wizard escapes into the Dark World, dragging Link with him. The hero travels between light and dark to hunt down the Dark Wizard behind this madness. Link rescues the maidens trapped within and eventually catches Ganon once again, this time defeating the wizard. Though this would not be the end, as a familiar face would rise from the remains of Ganon's cloak laying on the ground. The very same foe who killed the last known hero of Hyrule, Ganon. Ganon was simply the beast's alter ego, a pawn used to deceive. Ganon swiftly flees to the Pyramid of Power in the center of the Dark World. It's here that Link chases him for one more final battle. Would Ganon emerge victorious once again and slay another hero, or would Hyrule's beacon of light shine brighter than the darkness covering their land? A grueling fight takes place, and this time, it's Link who wins. He puts an end to the evil monster who's put this kingdom through so much. Following the battle, Link finds the Triforce here and it speaks to him. He touches the Holy Relic and uses its divine wish-granting powers to restore Hyrule to peace. His uncle, as well as the King of Hyrule, are brought back to life with this wish. The hero then decides to entrust the Triforce to the royal family of Hyrule, setting the kingdom up for an era of peace. The era of light and darkness continues on with the adventures of Link's Awakening, the two Oracle games, A Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes, and Echoes of Wisdom. Following this, we come to the brief timeframe known as the Golden Era. This era marks a period where the full Triforce was in possession of the royal family of Hyrule, which is where the name Golden comes from. The kingdom enjoyed a period of peace thanks to having the full Triforce in their possession, using it to govern their land and unite the kingdom. However, as the themes of the Zelda series would be bound to repeat themselves, the peace would only be for a time. After a great time of peace and happiness, Hyrule was due to meet a period of decline. Prior to the events of The Legend of Zelda and The Adventure of Link, signs of this decline began to show. When the last of the kings used the Triforce to anticipate his own death, with the relics still in the hands of the royal family of Hyrule, he had hoped to discover an individual who could become the new possessor of the full Triforce, as if it were to fall into the wrong hands, it means certain downfall for the kingdom. At this point, Hyrule had learned from multiple occasions how easily the balance of control can shift. The king of this time was taking precautionary action to set the kingdom up for a strong future after his time is up. However, it would prove to be a great struggle to find someone worthy. Despite having a son, he didn't fit the role as the king saw it. The king decided to split the Triforce into its three respective parts: courage, power, and wisdom. The prince would inherit the pieces of power and wisdom. Courage, however, was hidden away. Only one person told of its whereabouts: Princess Zelda. After the king passed, his son the prince began frantically searching for the third and final piece. He wanted full control, but it wasn't to be his. One day, a mysterious wizard appeared and told the prince that his sister, Princess Zelda, knew of the location. It's not known how the wizard knew that, perhaps some form of dark magic or mind reading. The prince demanded that Zelda reveal where the Triforce of Courage rests, but she refused to answer. In a moment of madness and twisted rage, the wizard cast a spell upon Zelda, placing her into an eternal slumber, killing himself in the process. With grief weighing on the shoulders of Hyrule's prince, he sealed his sleeping sister in the North Castle and ordered that all female monarchs of their family be named Zelda. As she was the only one who truly knew where the third piece of the Triforce lay, it remained lost. The royal family of Hyrule were never able to use the full powers of the relic ever again. As a result of this, the kingdom began to decline. People became divided, and the land that was once united as one fell in size. Years later takes us to the events of The Legend of Zelda. Ganon was on the rise once again after being revived. this time leading his army into the Kingdom of Hyrule to not only attack the fragile kingdom, but to steal the Triforce of Power. This classic adventure sees Ganon kidnap the Princess Zelda of this era. She splits the Triforce of Wisdom into 8 pieces to stop Ganon from holding not just power, but also wisdom. Link must travel the land far and wide, entering deep dungeons and battling against Ganon's ferocious minions, all to set up a grand battle between Link and Ganon. A battle that took place many generations ago with the Hero of Time. On that occasion, the hero failed. But would history repeat itself? No. This is a fight that would see the hero destroy the King of Evil and recover the Triforce of Power as well as Princess Zelda, putting yet another stop to Ganon. Though this timeline has one more story to tell. Not long after the events of the first Zelda game, a second adventure takes place. Although Ganon had been taken care of, his loyal minions would try to revive the beast once again. This time, they'd need the blood of Link to do so. The courageous hero who defeated the King of Evil would need to be sacrificed in order for Ganon to make a return. This part of the story isn't about stopping Ganon, but rather stopping his revival. The adventure of Link sees the hero take on a quest to wake up the sleeping princess of generations ago from her eternal slumber, as well as retrieve the Triforce of Courage that's still missing. Link travels to the 6 palaces to defeat their guardians. This is all in order to break the barrier surrounding the Great Palace, which is where Link can find the Triforce of Courage. The only thing standing in his way is himself. The final boss in this game is Shadow Link. Link must conquer himself in order to prevent Ganon's return and bring Hyrule back to peace. Of course, the hero prevails, and is rewarded with the Triforce of Courage and the ability to wake Zelda from her sleep. This would mark the first time the Triforce has been assembled in full since Zelda was put to sleep all those years ago. The kingdom would finally return to peace, marking the current end of the Downfall timeline split. This entire portion of the Legend of Zelda's story all happened because one hero failed in his most important battle. Link dying at the hands of Ganon started a chain reaction of events that would see some of Hyrule's darkest days, bringing the kingdom to near destruction, losing the most holy relic to the hands of evil, seeing Zelda put into an eternal slumber as the kingdom itself declines. There's obviously more lore to the individual game stories that weren't explored as in depth, but I wanted to focus on the origins of this timeline split as well as the major key events that happen throughout. The Zelda timeline often comes under a lot of criticism for many reasons, but for what it's worth, I think it makes the history and lore of these stories much more interesting to think about and dissect as fans. If there's one thing I've learned from the Downfall timeline in making this video, it's that mysterious wizards who just appear out of nowhere cannot be trusted in Zelda games. Thanks a ton for watching, you lovely people. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe for lots more fabulous Zelda content from myself. And of course, drop a cheeky wee like down below. Let me know if there's any parts of Zelda lore you'd like to see me cover. From events taking place between games to the stories behind certain characters, items, and locations. I love yapping about anything Zelda, so I'm open ears to suggestions. As always, an incredibly massive thank you goes to my channel members and patrons. Their additional support really helps to make videos just like this one all the more possible. If you'd like to learn more about this, then check out the membership information video by clicking the join button below. All of my socials are linked down in the description if you'd like to follow and keep up to date with me, as well as join the Discord server to chat to myself and many other like-minded Zelda fans. Thanks again for watching, folks. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.